Hello, young friends. I'm Group Captain A.K. Srivastava, and you are watching my YouTube channel, SSB Psych Group Captain AKS. Friends, I've been cautioning you against certain tendencies in the psych test and SSB in general. And these trends, they have been proliferated by some people who, in the true sense, they are not professionals, but they are in the field of guidance and coaching as far as the SSB preparations are concerned. Friends, today we are going to talk about certain mistakes which the candidates generally do while writing the stories. I'm talking about the contents of the stories. कुछ ऐसी गलतियां होती हैं जो कि कैंडिडेट्स करते हैं खास करके टीएटी स्टोरीज में। और वो गलती क्या है? फ्रेंड्स, आपको पता होना चाहिए कि the stories must be having a balance. बैलेंस का मतलब होता है कि उसमें जो साइकोलॉजिस्ट के इंस्ट्रक्शंस हैं उनके आंसर मिले। Remember the instructions by the psychologist. वो क्या कहता है? How to make the stories. I recall these instructions for you. He says, the stories must cover what led to the situation, what is going on, and what the outcome will be. That means whatever you are seeing is a continuity of something which you are not seeing, which has started in the past. It will continue in the future also. So the past, present, and future, they are all having a continuity. Now, under the influence of those people who really don't understand what TAT should be and what it is and what it reveals, many candidates, they give over attention to certain facts and certain factors and certain areas as well. One of such areas where I found candidates giving over attention is what conventionally or in the conventional list of OLQs, you understand it as factor 1. Friends, factor 1 is the factor of planning and organization. But when we say planning and organization, this does not mean that everything is to be centered around organizing something. Remember, this factor, factor 1, has got 4 sub-factors or qualities, you may say. That is effective intelligence, reasoning ability, organizing ability, and power of expression. It's a very, very balanced intellectual factor. Now, effective intelligence, is the ability to solve the problems of day-to-day life, in the practical life. This effective intelligence also must be reflected in your stories. But how? You have to pick up an issue which has got certain challenges, which has got sometimes the practical stumbling blocks. I'm cautioning you, many people, they do not include the challenges or the chances of success and failures. They think it's negative. Friends, please remember that the stories must be related with the practical life. And in practical life, difficulties are bound to come. Life is not a bed of roses. Anyway, I'm talking about the imbalance of contents which I have noticed. And here I'm going to talk with example of a particular dossier. Some time back, this a candidate has approached me for dossier assessment. And the first thing which I have noticed is the imbalance in the first factor. The candidate has been giving rather over attention to organizing something. And here, there are two things which have been noticed. In many stories, the candidate is showing that the person knows how to organize, the steps of organizing something. And yet, in some other stories, the candidate has started counting the items which are needed in planning and organizing a particular thing or event. Let me flash these examples. And before flashing these examples, I admit that the pictures on which the candidate has made the story, they are not mine. The candidate has picked up these pictures from some public source. I've got all the respect for the book or the person who has given him that thing. I don't own these pictures. Very honest and candid admission. But anyway, it is not possible for a psychologist to evaluate any story without seeing the pictures. So here, along with the pictures, I am giving the stories. Let us discuss the observation in these stories. So you see here, this is the picture that has been projected. You see the environment. It is not clear whether it's a rural environment or an urban environment because there's nothing like a human habitation, yet there are some vegetations, okay, some semblance of trees, the grass. And here you'll find that there is a young man. He is, you can say, he's wearing, the collarless t-shirt and some denim. And this person is holding the hand of a girl who is appearing a little downcast if you notice the facial expression. And she's wearing something like, full, something full. You can say it's maybe kind of a jacket covering hands and maybe trousers. But the girl is certainly looking exhausted, downcast, and the boy seems to be enthusing her. Okay. This is the situation. So what led to this situation? What is going on and what the outcome will be? In this backdrop of instructions, let us see what the candidate has written in the story. The story goes like this. I'm reading it. Please follow it as the cursor goes. Ahmed was the sports coach of his college. Once, when there was an announcement of the inter-college marathon that was about to be held, he immediately laid forward his preparation plan in front of the principal. He put up a notice for the athletes who were interested. He took trials after the classes. On selecting the athletes, he put each person on a TAT plan, made sure that proper conditioning is done in the morning. In the summers, as it was, he encouraged players to keep hydrated and made sure made sure each player was given proper attention as per the strengths and weaknesses. And on the D-Day, he motivated the team and his students came out with flying colors. Friends, this is the story. Now, my observation, what led to the situation and what is going on? Is it featuring? This person has made the whole story as something like whatever is written or would be written in any management manual with the topic how to organize a marathon or inter-college marathon. Indirectly, the person is giving the hint, I know how to organize. What the future it will be. His students came out with flying colors. Remember, The entire story, by the time it is coming to the present, is coming to an end. So there's nothing like a future. There's no continuity from the presented, past, and the future. Moreover, there's a boy and there's a girl. Why the boy is holding the hands and almost enthusing the girl, to run further. And the girl seems to be exhausted and downcast. The story is not giving any answer to this. We will see the second type of a story in which the candidate has counted the items required. See, first notice the picture. There seems to be a tentage line. There seems to be a natural environment, an open jeep, and three people in uniform. And notice their faces and the body language. They seem to be taken aback, seeing something with which they are not comfortable. They are having a sense of shock, maybe astonishment. And look at these two people. Their body language is defensive body language. Now, your story ideally should be taking in account what exactly is the reaction of these people that is so prominently displayed in the picture. However, the story goes on like this. Kshitiz was an NCC cadet. One day, when on a camp, there was announcement of hiking competition among different teams. He volunteered to captain the team. After the drill that day, he asked his team members to stay back and strategize for the day. He made sure that his team members packed well, taking a stick, good shoes, a rope, a harness, and a raincoat in their kit. He himself took the first aid and water bottle. He decided the sequence in which the members would move. He decided for the war cry and kept the team motivated. He asked them to sleep well that night, in the morning, the next day, whatever. Picture has not come complete. Now, friends, again, you ask yourself, does this story answer the question, the cardinal question which the psychologist is asking in the instructions? What led to the situation, what is going on, and what the outcome will be? Another thing, most of the candidates, they perhaps forget that the picture has to be very, very close. I mean, the story has to be very, very close to the story and pictures. They are supposed to be very, very close to each other. The picture is, and the meaning and the environment is to be completely integrated as far as the theme of the story is concerned. Here, it has been taken only for the purpose of identification that there is an NCC camp and there are some NCC cadets. The main theme of the story written by the candidate is, there's a hiking competition. If there is a hiking competition, then the candidate is indirectly giving the message to the psychologist that, sir, I know that these are the things required in organizing a hiking competition. Why there are 3 people only, why there is an open jeep, why these people are looking shocked or looking taken aback. This thing has not been covered in the story. Anyway, since this dossier has come for my evaluation, and you can see my remarks over here, counting the logistics and people in the open jeep and why not, all these things. I wanted to know it. I was curious. In fact, it was when I started doing as a freelancer, then it was one of the dossiers came to me in which These things have been given over prominence. That means planning and organizing. Well, I asked the candidate that please tell me, how these things came to your mind that you have to organize everything? And then the candidate has given me the answer that I was told to do so. Some gentleman who intruded into the field of psychology without understanding what exactly is the meaning of TAT. An extra dose of or overdose of planning and organization without realizing where the other factors will be coming from. How about effective intelligence? How about determination? How about hard work, consistent work? All these factors, they have been ignored. Friends, sometimes it pains me that such an instruction, if followed honestly and without examining the truth and the logic behind these things, it converts into your mind into a mindset, and then you reach a point of no return. I would like to tell you that in psychology, the primacy effect is very, very important. And primacy effect means the initial impressions that are cast in your mind, they last for a very long time. Remember, I've told in one of the videos that Psych Technique is the mother of all these techniques, but Psych Technique is not a kind and loving and forgiving mother. Any person who tries to mess up with Psych Technique, I'm afraid the consequences are definitely very bad. You will never receive the charitable remarks from the psychologist if instead of a story, you are deliberately pumping in the message that I know how to organize a particular. Friends, the services selection boards are examining your capability for your qualities of employability, wherein fighting the war is the prime thing. Your role will be the perceived role. Selection boards, they have been designed basically to test your capability to fight a war, the raw qualities. Then subsequently you'll be trained in the academies to become a soldier. If you are trusting the prescriptions of these people who think that after going to the services, you'll be only organizing football matches and a farewell party in the mess and maybe a function or a bada khana, I'm afraid you are sadly mistaken. Organizing the functions is the minuscule part of the job profile of a person. Your capabilities to solve the problems, to fight the war, sustain yourself in face of the odds. These are the qualities which all the three techniques they look into. I mean, they scan into the personality or they scan these things from your displayed behavior and responses. I'm afraid many of you don't realize and you follow the instructions of those people who are only, I'm sorry to say, I mean, I will not trust their capability and knowledge, capability of being a mentor and knowledge of the psychological technique. Take it as a caution, and I'll keep on cautioning you on such type of mistakes, or even far more than that. I'll be touching upon the various other mistakes which the candidates generally do in the tests like TAT and other psychological tests. Thank you very much. My best wishes to you. Happy preparations.